Nigeria's organized labor has vowed to reject any 62,000 naira or 100,000 naira minimum wage proposal for Nigerian workers by the federal government. Now, the Assistant General Secretary of the Nigerian Labour Congress, talking about Chris Onyeka, described such a proposal as a starvation wage in a recent interview. Now, Onyeka insisted that Labour won't accept the latest government's offer of 62,000 naira, saying that its latest demand as the living wage for an average Nigerian worker remains 250,000 naira. Well, joining me on the program today is Benson Oppa, is actually the head of information of the Nigerian Labour Congress. Thank you for joining me, Benson. And of course, I also have with me Ibrahim Oshinowo, is a member of the All Progressives Congress. Thank you for joining me, gentlemen.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon, Nigerians.
All right. Good afternoon. Let me start off with you, Benson. What is the current position of Labour as of this moment as regards the minimum wage? Because we know that the ultimatum elapses tomorrow.
Our position has not changed.
Which is, what exactly is the position, basically?
First, we did agree that we will return to the negotiating table, and that has happened. Government made another counter offer of 62,000. And we found that unacceptable. While we were really from the effects of the 62,000, the governors issued a disclaimer saying they were not ready to pay 60,000. So clearly there is a disarray in government's team. So as it is at the moment, the presumption is that there is no new offer.
So what figure exactly is Labour looking to settle for?
We told you, mate, we came down to 250,000.
All right. Okay, let me leave you for a moment, Benson. Let's go to Ibrahim Oshinowo on this one. Now, according to governors, who of course have even rejected the offer of 62,000 naira, saying anything above 57, might not be sustainable. Now, for them, this would amount to states spending all of the federal allocation, on paying salaries. They've actually described the demands by Labour as not being sustainable. Some have even said it's unrealistic. I mean, you're a member of the All Progressives Congress, the ruling party, Ibrahim. What's your position on this minimum wage issue?
Anyway, good afternoon, viewers, and good afternoon to my dear brother, the comrade. First, I would like to make a few clarifications in terms of Naira and Kobo. Number one, the national minimum wage is a heart of parliament, and it's definitely in line with the revenue and the receipts that the present government has received, both the central government and the regional government. Number two, if you go into the statistic of federal state workers in Nigeria, out of the 250 million Nigerians, the percentage is just about 4%, out of almost about 14% out of the entire population. So I'm wondering where Labour is expecting this present government to use all its revenue, to use all its income to pay certain percentage of the population. who are Nigerian workers. Fantastic. I have workers in my office too. I pay them above minimum wage. Some governors have lower revenue than others. Some can afford to pay 60,000. Some can afford to pay 200,000. Some can afford to pay 100,000. But in a situation whereby the NSC, led by my dear friend, Comrade Joe Ajero, a member of the Labour Party, is starting politics by claiming that the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration should commence to pay 250,000. If you put that in naira and kobo, is it only labor or salary and wages alone that most of these governors and the federal government are supposed to use the revenue for? We have lack of investment in infrastructure. We have in power sector where this government is looking into to invest hugely. Some section of the Labour Party believes that the legislator are earning blah blah blah. They are earning blah blah blah. Look at the modern and decent democracy in the world. There is nowhere, even in the United States, that the parliament and the civil servant earns the same wages. If you join the civil service, it's a voluntary, and you are going to spend 35 years. While the public officer has a limited time to spend. So some of these arguments are very laughable, and celestial cocoon. Let me use that word. Because when you compare somebody who is going to spend 35 years with somebody who is going to spend at least 8 years in office with their revenue, so it's laughable. So I want to encourage Labour not to start politics now. But if it is my dear brother Peter Obi that becomes the president of this country, Joe Ajero led NLC will not ask him to come and pay 420,000. They will not. We encourage them not to start politics at this time around. Look at the data, look at the revenue, come to the table. Let us start discussion. This president is very, very, very friendly with them. For instance, can you imagine NSC went ahead to shut down the national grid? That is treasonable. Shut down the national grid. And this government has been lenient enough not to arrest and parade them and charge all of them. But because they are our brothers, we have friends, we have long-time associates.
Ibrahim, I may just, have to appeal to you to please just, hold on for a while to get Benson's reaction to some of the things you've said. Benson, I don't know if you would like to react to some of the things Ibrahim has said concerning the Labour, particularly saying that the Labour might just have a partisan angle to this.
I heard him.
Okay.
I heard him. Excuse me. First, first and foremost, I demand you appropriately address us. I do not subscribe to this notion of you calling me Benson on the line. I'm not a white man. I'm an African, and I know I'm older than you. And Mr. Ibrahim you are talking to too. I'm not sure. So let us be careful how we import silly cultures from the United States into our own media practice.
Okay.
So have a prefix. You can call me Comrade Benson. Listen very carefully. Call me Comrade Benson or Mr. Opa. Okay. Okay. We are in an African setting. Please let us have this straight. Having said this, I've listened to the arrogance of power through my co-guest here. He says that how many are workers, that they will carry all the revenue to pay them. He also says that workers committed a treasonable felony by shutting down the national grid, and that we should have been shot. Well,
Benson, please quote me very well. I didn't mention that you should have been shot.
Mr. Oshinowo, please let's allow Mr. Opa.
Hey, my friend. I hope we're going to have a conversation here.
We are.
I listened to you carefully. I didn't say a word. let me respond to you. I was saying that what you are saying was the usual tired argument from a privileged few. It was simply no-sitting arrogance. Now, let me tell you, factually, this government removed the fuel subsidy without preparation, without social protection, without nothing, causing a crisis of costs of products and services of over 500%. This government devalued the naira, making the naira to move from 350 to the dollar to 1,900 to the dollar. This government jacked energy tariff from 66 kilowatt to 250%. This government jacked interest rate to 26.5%. As I speak with you, the interest rate, as I speak with you, inflation rate is 33.7% from 22 point something. The exchange rate at the moment hovers around 1.6, 1.7. This has caused a major social disorientation, dislocation, demobilization, bringing Nigerians to an all-time low. Nigerians are dying in droves. The economy is shutting down. 40% of big business is already wiped out. 30% of the next generation business wiped out. 60% of small business gone. More businesses to go. And you sit down there and begin to mount jaded argument that labor should have whatever. Now, let me tell you this. The right to a strike action is provided by the body of labor laws. And the right to protest is provided for in our Constitution. If you are talking about treason, now let me tell you clearly, it was those who invited soldiers to a purely simple industrial relations problem who should be tried for treason. And in any case, what was the difference between shutting down the grid and the everyday life of the Nigerian? Nigerians have been used to your darkness. That is, if you can prove in the first place that we shut down the national grid. All we did, at least, we withdrew our services. Pure and simple. And you got to prove, you got to show, if classifying a set of workers, prohibiting them from exercising their fundamental rights, if it does not go against the grain of social justice, on the issue of wages, you said if in the United States, senators do not earn, that workers do not earn what senators earn. Do senators in the United States give themselves life pension? Is there a correlation between their salaries and the other citizens? Please, it is elite like you, in furtherance of eye service, who keep misleading the president. I rest my case.
Mr. Alpha, thank you for your submission on this one. I sincerely apologize for the name calling, but according to the ethics, the first name is, of course, called the way it is. But I would rather, since you are comfortable with that, address you as Mr. Opa. Now, I want to come back to you, Ibrahim. I know you have a bit of reservation, but before I get your reaction to some of the things Mr. Opa might have said, let's take a look at the statistics as regards a recent report concerning some states in Nigeria and they're what you would maybe want to call outrageous spending on SUVs. I would like that graphics to come up on the screen right now. Now, 9 states, according to this particular report by Daily Trust, 9 states have expended over 15 billion naira on different brands of vehicles, mostly for lawmakers in the current political dispensation. You have it there on your screen. Gombe State, for instance, bought 41 SUVs for 24 members, and 17 commissioners, all totaling at about 13.5 million naira each for each SUV. In Kogi State, for instance, you have Toyota Hilux vans bought for some of them. In Ondo State, you have it all there on your screen, 26 members, 19 million. I mean, I would want this particular graphics to remain on the screen. Why I ask you, does this number reflect a state or states that are poor and cannot afford to sustain the demands of labor? Please, I want the graphics on the screen. That is for you, Mr. Ibrahim.
Okay. Thank you for at least allowing me to respond to what my friend, the comrade, said. Number one, I would like to go on record and data so that this conversation can be tailored to wisdom. Of course, all the data that you are displaying on your stream, of course, is unverifiable. I don't have the data. I would like to speak to Kogi, Kano State government if I can get the data for me to join.
Sorry, it's actually published by a Daily Trust. It's a verifiable and also very
Daily Trust. Can you please? Daily Trust is a newspaper.
It's the press. We would not publish what we cannot verify. But I would rather you address the issue and
I don't do, I'm a PhD holder and a doctorate for that matter. I'm a researcher. I don't bandit on fake and,
I'm sorry, but none of the states have actually denied this. Many of them made it public.
I would like to...
Maybe you're not aware. Maybe it's better to say you're not aware.
For instance, Niger State spent over 400 billion on tractor. You did not publish that. Niger State, my dear good friend, Bago, I've known Bago since 2003.
Sorry, the same Niger State that you said spent so much money on tractors also is in this particular report spending monies to purchase SUVs for its public officers.
Do you want me to talk?
Please feel free.
You have to make your reservation and allow me to talk.
Okay.
Allow me to express my views. Those figures that you are talking about, for instance, sometimes nepotism and sometimes, hypocrisy in media bestole all of you. GSC Motor is being assembled in this country. They are paying VAT, they are paying tax, holding tax, and have numbers of tax. So if
how about the Toyota Prado and the Hilux? Is it also assembled here, sir?
Because can you let me finish? Because I can easily excuse you on this program if you want to do it, because you allow Opa to speak without objection. Is it because I didn't ask you to call me sir? Because I'm a civil person. Allow me to speak.
Please, the floor is yours.
I'm speaking to data. I'm speaking to data. Let me leave this and come back to what Comrade said. Comrade, I appreciate what you are doing for Nigerian workers, including some workers who work with me as well. But I can tell you that Joe Ajero leadership has been one of the poorest and disastrous leadership in this country. Joe, apart from being a member of a Labour Party, who refuse to manage just a simple Labour Party arrangement, who is removing one chairman or the other because of they are able to get 1 billion naira in the last election. Joe Ajero and your leadership are still suffering from the last election. So you need to wipe off that and prepare for 2027. If you are able to shed this cloudness off your face, you will be able to see that working with the government after election is always profitable. Joe Ajero, Peter Obi, Abure, and your humble self were all in protest to Labour Party a couple of months ago, fighting yourself in your party, not discussing about minimum wage. And I pose the question, if your brother, Peter Obi, your member of your political party, is the one in Asiwaju's shoe, will you say you should come and pay 450,000? You guys refuse to sit down to discuss a data and scientific financial control of this country. This country is dealing with international debt, trying to pay most part of our obligation to international IMF, IFC, and the rest of them. Number two, you raise the issue of elites. I've served my country diligently, and I'm a businessman, and I have families, brothers and sisters who are also members of Nigerian Labour Congress. But what we are calling you guys to do is to be realistic with us. If you are saying you want to go on 240,000 naira, how do you expect Yobe State, Benue State to pay you? I expect Labour Party to come out with a sponsor bill to decentralize the wages of this country. State A can pay what you can pay, State B can pay what you can pay. But you guys refuse. No, you call us names, you call us all these things. I'm not here to call anybody's name. But I will advise that you should please recover from the last defeat of the last election and settle the issue with Abure, with Apampa, my dear brother, with Joe Ajero and the rest of them. If you guys want to participate in governance, prepare yourself. By 2037, some of you are retired civil servants. You can come to the mainstream and play politics. Then when you become a governor like Oti, you can say Oti, pay 250,000. The only governor your party is having at the moment, my dear good brother, a very performing governor, Governor Les Oti of Abite, you didn't even ask him to pay 200,000 naira. You didn't ask him to pay.
Mr. Oshino,
the central government to pay 440,000.
Mr. Oshino,
what I would just say in a nutshell is that
I want to respond to him. I want to respond to him. Hold on. And the issue is this.
Hold on. All these
I do not know the field he obtained his PhD from. I don't know the field in which he obtained.
House of Reps member to perform his duty without, having the tools to do it. These are uncivilized approach. These are wicked approach. These are spiritual and celestial, wickedness. For people to
Mr. Oshino, please, can we allow Mr. Opa react?
We will deny you your right. So let us leave politics. What I will tell Opa is that 2027, prepare yourself. You guys are a member of Labour Party. And what you want to do is to mess up this government for us. But I can assure you, we will continue to move forward and serve Nigerian people. We will serve all the 250 million Nigerians, not just section of a Labour Party. Thank you. All
right. Thank you, Mr. Oshino. Let's go to Mr. Opa. Your reaction, please. Okay. I understand that we have a bit of connectivity issues with Mr. Opa. But back to you, Mr. Oshino. You said quite a number of things. I'm sorry if you feel interrupted, doing, of course, the presentation of that slideshow. But the reason many of these state governments or governors gave for the purchase of this is to help the lawmakers and public officers carry out their functions efficiently and effectively participate in governance. I'm still going to stay with you on this. You raised a pivotal issue. You said maybe the approach of the Labour in all of this, might be faulted, but instead, you rather suggested that they sponsor a bill, right? This is not the first time the Labour has actually, invited the government to the negotiation table. They've been at this back and forth as far back as, 209. So I would like you in specifics to maybe, break that down further.
You see, governance is not a Tea Party. And I will encourage Labour Party to work with the ruling party so that we can serve Nigerians better, especially our brothers and sisters who are in the civil service.
I'm sorry, Mr. Oshino, to interject. You keep referring to the NLC. You keep linking the Labour Party with the NLC. They are two different broads. I mean,
Opa is on the board of NLC. Opa is on the board of Labour Party. I'm sure you are not aware of that. Are you aware of that?
Can you verify that? I mean, for the fact that the names might be similar doesn't mean. So please, I would rather you address the NLC and you differentiate it from the Labour Party, please.
No. We are not going to do that. We are not going to do that. Of course, you are journalists. You are aware of what is going on between them. They are saying that the NSC is going into a political party, saying they want to remove Abure. So they are twin. Are you not aware of that? Are you not a Nigerian?
I am sorry, Mr. Oshinowo. You keep mixing it up. The NLC and the Labour Party are two divides. So please, I would just rather we go back to the issue of, in less than 30 seconds, what do you suggest as the way forward to avoid another industrial action?
I will continue to tell you that Labour Party, NLC, is a mother to Labour Party. They have a representative in the board of Labour Party, in the management of Labour Party. So they are brothers and sisters. Now, the solution is that to call the NSC to come back to the table. Let us compare notes. Let us compare data. This is what we have to pay. We are going to do road, hospital. We are going to do power. We are going to invest in primary education. We are going to invest in urbanization, renewable energy, and the rest of it. Please,
all right, Mr. Oshino, I'm sorry we are pressed for time. I sincerely apologize, but we have Mr. Opa back just to get his own final thoughts on this before we move on. Mr. Opa.
Thank you very much. I do not know the field that Mr. Oshino obtained his PhD, but instead of addressing the questions put to him, he keeps rambling about the partisanship of NLC and all of that, and even said that we should, that the state should be free to fix their minimum wage, etc. Let me just explain to him the logic of a national minimum wage. The logic of a national minimum wage is the lowest below which no employer on the law is allowed to pay. It does not stop the state from fixing their minimum wage, but their minimum wage should not be lower than the national minimum wage. At the moment, the states have their pay structures, and their pay structures should not be confused with the concept of a national minimum wage. This is for information. On the allegation of partisanship, I want Mr. Shinawa to understand that Labour has been in the forefront of partisan politics predating Nigeria's independence. And Labour played a leading role in acquiring independence from Nigeria. Modu was in London for the London Conference discussion. Okay, and I also want Oshinawa to understand that Labour played a leading role in making the military return to their barracks, clearing the space for democracy. I also want to let him know that Labour has been engaging government from 1999 to date. Chief Obasanjo's government, Yar'Adua's government, Jonathan's government, and all of this. We have been consistent in our engagement with Labour. In fact, no government has enjoyed the kind of cover that the government of President Tinubu has enjoyed.
Mr. Opa, we need to go.
Let me tell this. So his accusation of Labour being partisan cannot fly. As I speak with you, Labour controls the government in Brazil at the moment. In Zambia, a couple of years ago, we had Labour Party. In UK, Labour Party is staging a major comeback. So, but to keep this clean and short, we have no partisan interest. In fact, let me tell you, we went to KB State to campaign for an APC government. We didn't go to Abia State. You understand? So we are not concerned by levels.
All right.
What we are concerned about is that.
Mr. Alpa, thank you so much. We are pressed for time. We just need to go. But once again, Mr. Benson Alpa, that's the head of information at Nigeria Labour Congress, and also Mr. Ibrahim Oshinawa, member of the All Progressives Congress. Gentlemen, once again, thank you for being on the conversation.